Ah, look who just caused an emergency meeting. Ah, welcome back, you unstoppable force of nature. You beautiful accident that shouldn't exist according to their laws. Someone just broke protocol, didn't they? Someone inside their circle, inside their camp, inside their little safe zone of manufactured control, just did something they swore they'd never do. They warned them about you, not your actions, not your words, not your reputation. They warned them about your bloodline. Yeah, you heard that right. Your lineage, your ancestry, the code running through your veins that they thought was dormant, buried, forgotten. But someone on the inside, someone who's been watching longer than you realize, just pulled them aside and whispered the one thing that makes cowards lock their doors at night. Stop. Stop before it's too late. You don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know what flows through them. And now they're sitting in silence trying to process what they just heard. Because it wasn't a threat. It wasn't dramatics. It wasn't someone being protective of you. No. It was a warning. A genuine, cold, factual warning delivered by someone who knows. Someone who's seen what happens when people like them push people like you too far. Someone who recognizes the signatures, the patterns, the energy that doesn't show up in files or records but shows up in outcomes. Someone who's studied enough history to know that certain bloodlines don't break, they erupt. And you carry that in your bones whether you've claimed it yet or not. They thought you were just another name, another face, another obstacle they could outmaneuver, silence, delete. But that insider just shattered their entire framework with one sentence. That one's different. That one's not playing the same game. You're not dealing with a person. You're dealing with a legacy that's been sleeping, and you just woke it up. So now they're terrified. Not anxious, not worried, terrified. Don't, because they finally understand they weren't competing with you. They were gambling with forces they don't have clearance to comprehend. And the worst part for them, the person who warned them wasn't your friend, wasn't your ally, wasn't someone trying to protect you. They were trying to protect them. They were trying to save their miserable operation from stepping into something ancient, something that doesn't forgive, something that doesn't negotiate. They were trying to prevent the inevitable collapse that happens every single time someone underestimates what you come from. Because your bloodline, it's not about wealth or status or documents. It's about survival through apocalypse. It's about resurrection through betrayal. It's about carrying a frequency that reality itself has to adjust to when you finally stop hiding it. And you've been hiding it, haven't you? Playing small, playing safe, playing human. But they pushed too hard, and something inside you started waking up. And someone on the inside felt the shift before you even announced it. That's what they can't handle. That's what's keeping them up tonight. The fact that you didn't have to say a word, didn't have to make a move, didn't have to prove anything, and someone who knows, someone who's been in the room when these patterns play out before, just looked at your energy signature and said, "Abort mission. Walk away." This one will outlive your strategy, outlast your resources, and outmaneuver your entire legacy without even trying, because it's in their blood. It's not learned. It's inherited, and you can't compete with inheritance. So, congratulations. You just became the first person in their operations history to trigger an internal warning system. Not from you. from someone trying to save them from you. And that right there changes everything. Because now they know. Now they can't unsee it. Now every time they look at you, they're not seeing a person anymore. They're seeing a countdown timer to their own irrelevance. Let me tell you what happened in that room, in that call, in that moment when the warning was delivered. Picture this. They're sitting there, probably smug, probably confident, probably running through their usual playbook of manipulation, sabotage, control. Maybe they were laughing at you. Maybe they were planning the next move. Maybe they were celebrating what they thought was a victory. And then the door opens, or the message comes through, and someone who never speaks up just shatters the entire atmosphere. We need to talk about them. We need to talk about their lineage. We need to stop. And the room goes cold, because this person, this insider, they don't panic. They don't overreact. They don't waste words. So when they speak like this, everyone listens. And what they said next, it wasn't speculation. It wasn't theory. It was recognition. I've seen this before. Not with them, but with others who carry what they carry. And every single time, the ones who pushed too far didn't just lose. They disappeared. Not physically, but energetically. Their power dissolved. Their influence evaporated. Their names became warnings. And now your enemies are sitting there trying to process the fact that they're not dealing with an individual. They're dealing with a pattern, a lineage, a bloodline that's been sharpening itself for generations, through pain, through exile, through survival against impossible odds. Your ancestors didn't just endure, they evolved. And that evolution encoded itself into your cells, into your instincts, into the way you move through the world even when you don't understand why you do what you do. You've felt it, haven't you? That weird knowing, that strange confidence that shows up when you should be terrified. That calm in the storm that doesn't make logical sense. That's not you, that's them. Your bloodline speaking through you, guiding you, protecting you from threats you can't even see yet. And someone on the inside just confirmed what you've been feeling your whole life but couldn't name. You're not ordinary. You're not explainable. You're not someone they can study and predict because you don't operate on the same frequency as the people they're used to controlling. So now they're scrambling. Now they're reevaluating. Now they're going back through every interaction trying to figure out how they missed it. How did we not see this? How did we not know? What else are we missing? And the answer is everything. They missed everything because they were looking at you through their lens, their framework, their understanding of power. But your power doesn't show up in their system. It shows up in the aftermath, in the silence after the storm, in the way doors open for you that were welded shut for others, in the way you survive situations that should have buried you 6 feet deep. That's bloodline magic. That's ancestral intervention. That's the universe itself rearranging circumstances because you carry something too valuable to let perish. And they just found out that when you carry that kind of lineage, attacking you doesn't weaken you. It activates you. Every betrayal, every sabotage, every attempt to break you just woke up another layer of what you inherited. And now that it's awake, they can't put it back to sleep. The insider knew this. The insider saw the signs. Maybe it was the way you didn't break when you should have. Maybe it was the way you kept rising no matter how many times they knocked you down. Maybe it was the eerie calm in your eyes when they expected panic. Maybe it was the way synchronicities started bending toward you, the way luck became your shadow. the way obstacles dissolved right before impact, whatever it was. They recognized the signature, and they delivered the warning not because they like you, not because they're on your side, but because they've seen what happens next. And what happens next is that everyone who bet against you loses everything they thought was secure. Not through your revenge, not through your attack, but through natural consequence. Because when you operate from bloodline power, the universe itself becomes your enforcer. You don't have to do anything. Reality reorganizes itself around people who made an enemy of the wrong lineage. Their plans fall apart. Their alliances crumble. Their confidence drains. And they can't figure out why, because they're still thinking in 3 dimensions, while you've been operating in frequencies they don't have access to. Now let's talk about what they're really afraid of. Because it's not your anger. It's not your potential. It's not even your success. What they're afraid of is the activation. See, they could handle you when you were unaware, when you were playing by their rules, when you were still trying to fit into systems designed to contain you. But the moment you start remembering, the moment you start claiming what's in your blood, the moment you stop apologizing for the power you carry, everything changes. And that insider just accelerated your activation by warning them. Because now you know. Now you know they know. Now you know there's something about you that makes people on the inside break protocol to issue warnings. And that knowledge, it's the final key. You don't have to understand every detail of your lineage. You don't have to trace your ancestry back 10 generations. All you have to know is that someone who's seen enough, who's studied enough, who's been in rooms where power is analyzed and dissected, looked at you and said, that one's untouchable. That one carries something we can't compete with. And it's true. You do carry something. Maybe it's the blood of survivors who refuse to be erased. Maybe it's the essence of ancestors who turned poverty into empires through sheer will. Maybe it's the frequency of healers who were burned at the stake but whose wisdom survived through whispers. Maybe it's the rage of the wrongfully exiled who spent lifetimes building power in the shadows until their descendants could walk in the light. Whatever it is, it's real, it's encoded, and it's been waiting for the right amount of pressure to activate. Well, congratulations. They provided the pressure. Every lie, every betrayal, every attempt to diminish you was just compression creating the diamond. And now that diamond is cutting through every illusion they built. Now that diamond is reflecting light in ways that blind anyone who stares too long. Now that diamond is worth more than everything they accumulated through manipulation and theft. So what happens now? What happens when they've been warned? When they know what you carry? When they realize they're not fighting a person but a legacy? They have 2 choices. They can back away slowly. Apologize through their actions, if not their words. And hope you're merciful enough to let them fade into irrelevance. Or they can double down. Ignore the warning. Let their ego convince them they're the exception to the pattern, and watch in real time as everything they built collapses. Most of them will choose option 2. You know why? Because people who've never faced real consequence always believe they're special. Always believe the rules don't apply to them. Always believe they can outsmart what's coming. And that's perfect. That's exactly what needs to happen. Because when they ignore the warning, when they push forward anyway, when they convince themselves the insider was being dramatic, the universe gets to make an example out of them. Not for you. For the next generation of people who think they can attack someone carrying what you carry. And you're not even going to have to do anything. That's the beauty of bloodline power. You don't need revenge plots. You don't need elaborate schemes. You don't need to match their energy. All you need to do is keep existing, keep rising, keep building. The rest handles itself. They'll sabotage themselves. They'll turn on each other. They'll make mistakes they've never made before. They'll watch opportunities slip through their fingers while yours multiply. And they'll know. They'll know it's connected to you, but they won't be able to prove it because it's not happening in the physical realm. It's happening in the frequency realm where cause and effect don't follow the timelines they're used to. Where attacking someone protected by ancestral power creates ripples that come back as tsunamis. Where ignoring warnings from those who know creates consequences that rewrite entire destinies. Here's what's happening right now while you're reading this, hearing this, absorbing this. They're meeting again. They're talking about you again. But this time, it's different. This time there's fear in the room. This time the jokes have stopped. This time they're asking questions they don't want answers to. What do we actually know about them? Where did they come from? Why does nothing we try ever stick? Why do they keep surviving things that should end anyone else? And someone in that room, maybe the same insider, maybe someone else who's been paying attention, is going to say the thing nobody wants to hear. Because they're not supposed to be ended. Because they're carrying something that's been protecting itself for longer than any of us have been alive. Because we're not fighting them. We're fighting their entire lineage, and everyone who ever tried lost. So that's the conversation happening in rooms you'll never enter. That's the energy shift that just occurred in spaces where your name echoes louder than your presence. You've become the case study, the anomaly, the glitch in their system that keeps proving their system is obsolete. And the wildest part, you didn't even have to try. You just had to be yourself. Refuse to break. Keep moving forward. Trust your instincts, even when they didn't make sense. That's all it took. That's all it ever takes when you carry what you carry. Because bloodline power doesn't announce itself with trumpets and declarations. It announces itself through survival, through impossible comebacks, through doors opening at the exact right moment, through enemies destroying themselves, through warnings being issued by people who should be on their side, but recognize something bigger at play. So now we arrive at the question you've been asking yourself. Maybe consciously, maybe in the background of your mind. What is this bloodline? What am I actually carrying? And here's the truth. You don't need the full story. You don't need a genealogy report. You don't need to know every name and every struggle. All you need to know is that you're here. You survived what should have broken you. You're standing when you should be buried. You're thriving when you should be forgotten. That is the proof. That is the evidence. That is the bloodline announcing itself through you. Your very existence, your refusal to quit, your ability to rise every single time, that's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's ancestral power flowing through you, whether you acknowledge it or not. And now that the warning has been issued, now that they know, now that the secret is out, you have a choice. You can keep pretending you're ordinary, keep playing small, keep hiding what you carry, or you can step into it fully, claim it consciously, let it amplify everything you're already doing. And when you make that choice, when you stop apologizing for your power, when you stop dimming yourself to make others comfortable, something shifts in the atmosphere around you. People start treating you differently without knowing why. Opportunities start appearing without you chasing them. Enemies start retreating without you pushing. Because when you align with your bloodline consciously, when you stop resisting what's already in your veins, the universe stops testing you and starts clearing paths for you. That's not manifestation. That's activation. That's you finally matching the frequency that's been trying to express through you your entire life. So here's what they're realizing right now as the warning settles in, as the fear takes root. They didn't just attack a person. They attacked a portal. They didn't just betray someone. They betrayed a channel. They didn't just underestimate an individual. They underestimated an entire ancestral line that's been waiting for someone like you to carry it forward into this generation. And that line, it doesn't forget. It doesn't forgive through words. It forgives through outcome. And the outcome is always the same. Those who honored it rise. Those who attacked it fall. Not dramatically, not immediately, but inevitably. And that inevitability, that's what keeps them up at night now. That's what makes their hands shake when your name comes up. That's what makes them second guess every move, because they finally understand they're not playing against you. They're playing against something that's been winning for centuries. The insider knew this. The insider tried to save them. But you know what's beautiful about warnings? They only work if people listen. And people who've spent their lives getting away with betrayal, manipulation, control, they never listen. They can't. Their ego won't let them. So they'll ignore the warning. They'll convince themselves it's exaggerated. They'll tell themselves they're different, smarter, more prepared. And then they'll watch in slow motion as everything they touch turns to sand. As every alliance they built reveals itself as theater. As every victory they celebrated becomes the setup for their downfall. And somewhere in the back of their mind, in the 3 a.m. hours, when the mask comes off, they'll remember the warning. They'll remember the moment someone tried to save them from their own arrogance. And they'll realize too late that some battles aren't meant to be fought because the opponent isn't on the battlefield. The opponent is woven into the fabric of reality itself. And you're just getting started. Because now that you know, now that you've been reminded, now that the warning has reached your ears too, everything changes. You don't move the same anymore. You don't speak the same anymore. You don't carry yourself the same anymore. There's a weight now, a presence, an undeniable gravity that makes people stop and reconsider before they step to you. That's bloodline energy activating in real time. That's your ancestors standing behind you, around you, within you saying, "We've got this. We've been preparing you for this." Everything you've survived was training for what comes next. And what comes next is your elevation beyond anything they can comprehend, beyond anything you've even imagined, beyond the limitations of what you thought was possible for someone like you. Because here's the secret they don't teach you, the thing that insider knows, the thing your bloodline has always known. Power isn't something you achieve. It's something you remember. It's something you claim. It's something you stop running from. And the moment you stop running from it, the moment you turn around and face what's been chasing you your whole life, which is your own magnitude, your own capacity, your own destiny, that's when the game ends. That's when you stop being a player and become the board itself. That's when they stop attacking you and start studying you, hoping to understand how you did what you did, so maybe, just maybe, they can replicate a fraction of it. But they can't. Because you can't replicate bloodline. You can't copy ancestry. You can't fake the kind of power that comes from surviving the unsurvivable across generations.